Okay, it's the 3rd of August and we're here with EMPRA at the Rocket Room in Perth. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, good, man.
How's the tour been going for you so far?
Excellent.
Unbelievable.
Something like
Fantastic.
24 dates, is that right?
Yeah, 22, 24? Yeah, 23.
We can't count. We don't really know.
You're musicians, you don't need to count. Except for counting in. So just very quickly, you've been compared to artists as diverse as Foo Fighters, Green Day, Weezer, Guns N' Roses in one review that I read. Is it fair to say that you've all got really diverse influences?
I think so. Like, I mean, all of us have our bands that we, like our favorite bands, and they're kind of different from each other. But collectively, the kind of bands that we do like Foo Fighters, Green Day, and Weezer, that sort of mid-90s alternative rock kind of bands with a bit of that punk influence. I know Katner's like really pop punk kind of dude. Yes, he does play pop punk.
Miller Holland.
Yeah, I'm a very alternative rocker, modern rock kind of guy. I love that kind of shit, you know.
Yeah, a bit of everything, really.
He's like the biggest AC/DC fan I know.
Yeah, I'm just a rock fan. Like all music,
Yeah.
everything's good.
I think we're very focused. I think just with all the influences, like it's a bit different. It's very focused.
Frog.
Smash last night, by the way. That's why his voice.
Might be to stop
Yeah,
talking.
that's courtesy of Billy Corgan and the Pumpkins.
Nice. So your debut album has been receiving some really rave reviews right around the country. How have the punters been digging it through your shows?
It's been good, man. It's good. We kind of judge how successful it is by the amount of people that actually are singing the words to the songs in our shows. So when people start singing along, we're like, hey man, those guys sing the words, man. It's alright. You know?
Yeah, that's really cool. When you look into the crowd and you can see someone singing,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
It's like, yeah, man. You know, like, so I know, like in Melbourne, it was singing really loud. It was like one part, it was singing so loud I couldn't hear the fallback, and I fucking sang off, man. But it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault.
Blame the punters, yeah. And how closely does the sound on the album reflect how you play live? I mean, for people like me who haven't seen you live yet.
To be honest, I'd say live we're probably a little bit more aggressive and in your face, and it's probably a harder edge sound. I mean, it was captured very well in the studio, but maybe comes out a little bit cleaner than we are live. But the songs are still sound the same, and you know, it's not too much. And just played a little bit differently to the album too. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, just the live version. Yeah, tailored to a live show, so we're going to come and check it out, and more, you know, climaxes and that sort of thing, more light and shade and all that kind of stuff. So.
And how did you hook up with Ricky Ray to get him on board as producer for the album?
Because he produced one of our favorite albums, the Electric Mary album, and we got screwed over by the last studio, so like we didn't want to take any chances. We just like we want Ricky Ray to record because he'll sort this shit out. You know, so.
Yeah, I read a story about that. It was quite a shocker.
Yeah, he came down to our rehearsal. He saw us and he said, "Yep, I want to produce your album. When you guys want to do it?" And you know, that was it. He just came down. And I knew, like, when he came down to this rehearsal space and he had this really fucked up PA, man. Like, when it's like this PA is so fucked up. Like, when everyone plays, you can't hear shit, man. But then Ricky Ray went to the console and he did some shit to it, and finally, for the first time, we could hear ourselves. And we're like, this guy is our producer.
Very good. So obviously the recording process was enjoyable overall.
Yeah, it was extremely good. It was just so
Bit scary. Bit scary. Oh, well, you know. We have high expectations of ourselves. no, Ricky's a really, really cool guy and he's very easy to work with and gets the best out of it.
Yeah, he brought the best out of us for sure.
And what does he bring to the table?
It just brings a good sound, I guess. He lays it down well. I mean, we knew how we wanted the song to sound, and he had you know, a little bit of influence, but I guess it was mostly produced by us, but he's captured it really, really well. And
he's very calming as well. Like,
yeah.
we were
stressed, man.
You'd be a bit stressed going in, and then he'd just really calm you and make you feel great.
Yeah.
Cool.
He has a lot of suggestions in terms of like how fast or how slow we should play our songs. And in one song, he told me to change the chord to this weird chord that I couldn't play, so Galti had to play the chord. It was too hard for me. And then and he's just really good at capturing a band for what they sound like at that moment. He's very good at capturing bands for what they sound like. He doesn't put his own stamp on you.
Cool.
That's what his specialty is, I think.
So we mentioned very briefly there that you had one experience when you, if I read it correctly, you'd signed up for a package deal with a studio, and then at the end of it, somehow or other it sounded like shit and they wouldn't give you the recordings, and
I don't
all
think
sorts of
shit-
nastiness happened.
Shit isn't
Shit's mankind.
It's like, yeah, you guys are beyond belief, man.
So what advice would you give to young artists about not falling into a trap like that?
Okay, well, first thing is, before you decide to record anywhere, you need to speak to a whole bunch of other people who have recorded at that studio and get, like, it's like, you know, you apply for a job, you need references. It's like that in the studio, you need references. And just be very wary of people doing handshake kind of deals and favors. Because things always add up in the end, and then they're like, you know, if you don't have everything in writing at the start, like, you know, this package deal gives me this and this and this, and then they'll be, oh, you know, use up all your hours right now. If you want to finish this project, it's going to cost you extra, this kind of shit. And it's like, man, you didn't tell me that at the start, man. You know, and the main thing is, like, you know, like, just do your background research. Do your homework on the studio and on the guy producing it. And if the guy is drinking in the studio, get the fuck out.
You also managed to get an old mate of yours, Wally DeBacca, who's also known as Gautier, to guest on your track Sabrina, which is a tribute to a mutual friend of yours who passed away.
Yep.
It was obviously a very emotional song for you to write and to perform. Did it help to have a mutual friend in the studio for that?
Yeah, of course, man, because, you know, in my last band, The Sons, and Wally's band, my last band, The Basics, we did a lot of shows together, and, you know, we were all mutual friends and stuff, so he knew Wayne. This album is actually, the whole album is a tribute to him, and so it was just good. I felt that, you know, and Wayne really like loved Wally, and Wally really admired Wayne's drumming and stuff, and I felt it's important to have someone like that playing his shit, you know, on the thing. So it was really good to have Wally there, man. You know, like I just called him up, like, hey Wally, can you play on this song? He said yes even before he heard the song, man. That's how cool, that's how fucking cool he is, man. He's like the #1 artist in the whole fucking world, right? And he's still so fucking cool.
Excellent.
So that's so awesome. Yeah.
How's the response been as you've travelled around the country? Is it a similar response everywhere, or do you get different responses to different songs in different areas?
Similar, really.
I guess it will depend a little bit on like the lineup you've got, because we work well with punk bands and work well with more just straight rock bands, and we're somewhere in the middle, and that's why, you know, you sort of list those references and say there's definitely a punk vibe. So punk fans actually probably love our band, you know, probably the most excited about it. So I guess from that aspect, some songs will work better than others with crowds, but generally everyone just likes the whole show. The whole thing flows together pretty well. So.
You choose your set list based on the crowd. Really.
Yeah, we actually we
What
do
sort
a
of
little bit of
crowd
that.
it is.
You got a bunch of songs, and then we, you know, depending on the time we have, we're like, okay, like, you know, right now we're sick of 3 songs, so we're not going to play those 3 songs we're sick of today. It changes, set list changes.
So have you had much of a chance to play tourists as you've travelled around the country? You did mention earlier off camera that you'd been out to see the Bon Scott statue and Little Creatures in Fremantle this morning,
Yeah,
or this afternoon.
Went to an ice cream shop last week in Tassie.
Because you need to get a bit colder down there, wouldn't you?
Well, it was meant to be an ice cream tour of the factory, but we rocked up, it was just a shop. So we just brought ice cream and that was it.
Fair enough. Awesome. How special that must have been.
And the freezing cold, so.
So delving into ancient history for a little bit, in your bio there were 2 things that really got me intrigued, Sani. You were banned from playing in Singapore, and you have a metal replacement elbow.
Yes, that's right.
Are those 2 connected?
The 2 separate incidences. Yeah. So I got banned in my last band, the Board Fucks. That's what we were called. And we were asked to play at this festival, and before we went on stage, the promoters like, better not use any vulgarities in the rails. You know.
And what was the band name?
Board Fucks.
Right, but don't use any vulgarity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like it's fucks with a PH, not an F.
Oh, okay. Right.
Get it right, man. Get your facts straight.
I haven't done my research.
So like we went on stage, and then I thought it was just the most punk rock thing I could do at that moment was just to shout out all the vulgarities I knew in a couple of different languages for about 1 minute. Then we started our set. And it was fun, man, because I thought it was for fun, and the crowd really loved it, and people got out of control. Midway through our set, we started to riot, and then the festival was shut down, and they blamed it on me. So, and I got charged with the violation of the Public Entertainment Act.
Right on. That's very rock and roll.
I don't know, man. And I had to go down to I was in the police station for a day, and then, you know, and it was a big court case and everything. But fortunately, they dropped the charges. My dad was fucking pissed off at me, man. My dad was fucking pissed. I was more scared of my dad than the policeman, to be honest.
Full on. So how, having a metal replacement elbow, how has that affected your guitar technique?
Yeah, I got an elbow here. Made a metal because I jumped off a Marshall stack trying to do like an Angus Young sort of Justin Austin style move that went
You're
wrong.
just racking up rock cred points, aren't you, by the moment?
So, like, you know, yeah, it's like I was trying to jump off this amp and then I tripped, and because I'm not that acrobatic, you know, mid fall, I was like, oh, slow motion, oh. All I could think of, fuck my guitar! So I down my guitar and then bam, and then like that. Then my hand went limp. I'm like, fuck, I can't move my fucking arm, man. But I had one more chord to play, this A chord. So I swung my elbow. Then I went, damn! I struck the last chord. And then I was like, fuck, someone get me to the hospital, man. They went to the hospital and they did an x-ray and my elbow was shattered in 5 pieces. So the doctor said, we have to replace your elbow with a metal joint. And after the operation, he said you have to struggle to learn how to play guitar again and regain used to it. But I just soldiered on for about 6 months and then finally got back to play guitar again. And it's actually been a blessing because I was a really shit guitar player. Really fucking sloppy guitar player before I busted my elbow. Because I had to relearn how to play guitar all in a different way. So I had a chance to kind of like, revise all my technique and my rhythm technique and all that kind of stuff. So it's like a blessing in disguise.
Small mercies.
But I'm never going to jump off an amp.
Fair enough. And that, I'm assuming that makes for some fun at airports as well?
No, I mean, like in most modern airports, they don't detect, like, you know, because it's like space age shit in here, man. It's like, you know, it's like they don't really detect the metal. But in case I go to some like Bhutan or something, before they strip search me, I got this letter in my passport. Dude, wait! I got metal in my elbow.
You've been pitching pretty strongly for the support for the Weezer Arena Tour in January, and I believe you had a bit of a win this week with Chug Entertainment Group. Can you tell our viewers what you did?
What we did was like because like Weezer is one of our favorite bands of all time, and one of our friends from Bombshell Zine, Bomber, said, if you really want to stand out, right, this is what you got to do. You should send them some cupcakes. So I thought, why don't we take it to another level? Let's do a blue album cake with our faces on it. So we got our designer Percy. He designed the photograph. We replaced the heads with our heads, and then we found this cake shop called, what's it called? We found somewhere in Sydney. We found this cake shop in Sydney, and we said, okay, we want this cake to be made, and they were the only company that could do the blue icing on the sides of the cake because everybody could just print the stuff. So we did that, and then we A3 square. A3 square cake. So it's like a blue album, but instead of Weezer's face, you see ours, and it says, hey, EMPRA, this is what Weezer, everything, right? You know? Kind of thing. And but the funny thing is, so we had to pass the money to the delivery driver, and he was like a fucking biker. I mean, he was like big ass, like mean guy and shit. I mean, he's a nice guy, and he looked intimidating, so I told the guy, whatever happens, this cake must go to the desk of this guy. Don't leave it at the reception. And then after he delivered it, I called him and he was like, yeah man, I went to reception, and the lady was like, yeah, just get the cake here, Sarah, I'll bring it. The guy's like, no man, I'm on the strict instructions to deliver this cake to this guy. And then she's like, oh, okay. So he went into the office and he put it onto the guy's desk. The guy opened it and went, whoa! And then he put the photo on Facebook.
Awesome.
They loved it. They did it.
Got 100 likes in about half an hour. It was
Brilliant.
Yeah, but there's still no decision being made, so we're still keeping our hopes up and our fingers crossed, you know.
Absolutely.
Really hope we can get to happens, you know.
Anyone knows Chug, put in a good word for us.
Okay, so finally, what for each of you is the meaning of life?
Life.
Isn't it 42? Is that,
Bringing out the tough questions.
Just to be happy, I guess.
To do what you
love every day.
love.
Yeah,
I mean, at the moment, this is like working a second job. I mean, if this could become full time, I mean, that would be absolutely awesome.
I think just live
do what
with
you
no
love.
regrets. Give it your all.
to lead a good life, you know, like a good life and feel like you made a difference in the world in a positive way in this life, and just try and be happy about it, you know. I think that's the main life.
Awesome. Well, good luck with the end of the tour and with the album, guys. Thanks very much for your time.